When I was 4 years old, my parents and I were in the backyard, and we looked up in the sky. My dad pointed out, going across the sky, Sputnik, the Russian satellite. And I thought, when I saw that, wow, I'd love to explore that. I'd love to go into space. Not too many years back, about 25 years ago, 26 years ago, I met a gentleman from Lockheed named Nicodemus, who was very influential in NASA, and befriended him. He allowed me to go through a special missions project at NASA to do biological studies dealing with space. I did not pass all the requirements because I could not follow authority, but I just had a fascination, so I decided to do it involved in private enterprise and was involved in the Ansari Prize with the Ansari group in Spaceship One in 2004. And so I got to be there at the launch and be one of the funders. So I've had a fascination with astronomy, and I've written probably 3,000 pages on astronomy. So being here is very special to me, and it's kind of apropos to start in that area. My background is also in classical literature and studying philosophers, theologians and astronomers and things like this. I studied Aristarchus, was the first heliocentric construct before Copernicus, and Berosus, the Babylonian priest, and then also Plato. Plato was confronted by a series of merchants in his times. And not everybody was educated at the time. There was a handful of people educated, but there were many people that were involved in sales and merchants. And they were confronting Plato. A group of them gathered together to confront him and said, Plato, why do you teach such abstract mathematical conceptualizations to the young youth, the youth of tomorrow? He basically listened to their chastisement because they were wanting young men and women that were involved in building business. And he said, you're so right, I'm so foolish. I can't believe that I could not see what you are all able to see. And so please, if you ever see me do this again, please feel free to not make any more comments. Please feel that I'm unworthy of any more comments. In other words, he was saying, bug off. Because he knew that without an astronomical vision, you are not going to be a leader on the planet. And he was interested in creating leaders on the planet. He knew that the exploration of astronomy was necessary for greatness on the planet, the terrestrial world. The ancients knew that there was a terrestrial sphere and a celestial sphere. The terrestrial sphere ended in trial, the place of judgment, the underworlds. And the celestial sphere was a place of harmony and where people worked together. And even today, in the last 60 years, as astronauts and cosmonauts explored into space, they created an observation that led to what they call the overview effect today. And the overview effect is the farther we go into space, the more difficult it is to judge the people on Earth. And the farther we go into space, the more we love and fall in love with this thing called Earth and the solar system we're in. I've said for nearly 40 years, if you want to make a difference in yourself, you have to have a vision bigger than yourself. You have to have a vision at least as big as your family. If you want to make a difference in your family and be a leader in your family, you have to have a vision as big as your community. If you want to make a difference and be number one in the community, you will require a vision as big as your city. If you want to be a leader in the city, you must have a vision as big as your state or province. If you want to be a leader in the province, the state, you need a vision as big as your nation. If you want to be a leader in the nation and number one in the nation, you need a global vision. But if you want to leave a mark on the planet and leave a legacy and a globalization of your ideas, you need an astronomical vision. I had the opportunity to have dinner with Rupert Murdoch and his son-in-law and daughter and my wife a number of years back. I asked him, what is it and how did you come about creating such a media empire? And he says, on a daily basis, he has a ritual where he lifts up a planetary orb that he has sitting on a stand in his office. And he holds the planet Earth and he spins it in his hand and he says, what message do I want to bring to planet Earth today? And he stands from a celestial perspective looking down on the terrestrial sphere. Most people have that reversed. They're having a terrestrial perspective looking out in the celestial instead of having a celestial view looking down at the terrestrial. And that influenced me. I know when I was younger, in my 20s, I got clocks from all over the world, major cities around the world, and I put them in my office. I got a map of the Earth and started envisioning clients from around the world. I got literally an astronomical map a celestial map and had one in my office in a globe that would spin so I could see it from a broader perspective. And I held a vision that I would step foot on every country on the face of the earth. And I had that dream. And many times over the years, people have asked me, how did I reach people around the world? And I said, when you have a crystal clear vision of what it is that you want to create in the world, and it's an astronomical vision, it's impossible for any mortal terrestrial being to interfere with it. No mortal can interfere with an immortal vision. No terrestrial can interfere with a celestial missionary.